two in hand. Hello and welcome, everybody, to Tuesday Night TerrorVision. I'm your host, Etep Wakuian. Happy Halloween season, folks. We're back. We are reviewing a fantastic movie tonight. I am joined by the one, the only, that's Mrs. Co-host to you. It's Trina from Real Horror.
Hello, I'm happy to be here. And I'm looking forward to this review. And hello to Tyler and Jason. Yes, that's it. And yeah, looking forward. Glad to have you guys with us. And hello to everybody in the chat.
Yes, welcome back, gentlemen. Good to have you.
Good to be back. Absolutely.
Same here.
It's been a while, and I'm like, man, we got to bring the dynamic duo back on for at least one shot during the Halloween season. So this it's great to have you back. I got to ask before we start, because I'm going to try to go see it possibly this weekend. Have you seen Terrifier 3? Did you see it like opening night at midnight?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I don't want spoilers, but how was it compared to 2?
It doesn't compare. It doesn't compare.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, you thought 2 was bad. This is worse. Like with everything that happens, it's worse.
I was actually like the first 10 minutes of the film. Like, I heard a guy behind me, like he was like, "Oh God, dude!" He went he burped, and I was like, "Don't you do it! Don't you throw up on me!" So it was intense. And I'm actually going to go see it again because my girlfriend's taking her sister to go see it because she was like, I watched the movie with her, and she says it's not that bad, so she's gonna take her little sister to go see it. And I'm just like, it's your sister, it's your sister, and she's like 13, I think.
Oh no!
Oh, God,
not my sibling. So
no. Trina went to see it opening night too. She loved it. Said she's gonna go see it again, right, Trina?
Oh yeah, huge fan of the franchise. Looking forward to the 4th movie.
yeah, I feel like the last time we asked that, she was like, "That's not my thing."
Yeah,
it's totally not my thing.
She's not going to see it. She'd rather go watch wrestling than watch Terrifier.
I literally would.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there. That's I'm $50 in the hole already. Shit.
And we just started.
What up? Let's see. We got Davian. Hey, Davian, what's going on? Okay. It's all good, brother. It's all good, man. Enjoy the replay. Have a fantastic night. Jeremy Nix, what's going on, bro? Welcome. As a diehard Halloween franchise fan, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, the absolute worst idea they could have used. You're absolutely correct. In context of the Halloween franchise, it was a bold strategy that fell flat, but as a standalone movie, fuck, is this good? It is so dark. It's not scary. It's unsettling, which makes it even worse than outright terror at some points. Parrothead. I see Etep polish his head. Look, Zaddy had to get cleaned up, man. This is all shot. I went and got to the barber shop and got this all trimmed up today. I'm like, I'm not going to look like a homeless Forrest Gump again this winter. So I'm just going to keep the goatee nice and long and keep this all trimmed up and proper. Keep that looking nice. You know, I got to keep it clean. I can't whistle, but if I could, that's how clean I'd be. But no, welcome everybody. Let's so I have notes on the potato laptop over here because I didn't handwrite them tonight. Like I said, it was way too much to fucking handwrite.
The first time, real quick about your intro, like the Etep Akkad thing, the Mustafa Akkad. I was like, how did you do that? Like, I knew about that, but I don't know if you know who Mustafa Akkad is.
Oh yeah, he's the man behind the money for Halloween. He's been the shepherd of Michael. I almost said Jason Voorhees of Michael Myers for years. He's the one that said, "Hey, you could do whatever you want, but you cannot kill him off." That's why it took so long for them to kill him off because Malik Akkad, once Malik took over, Mustafa Akkad suffered a fucking tragic death. Like he was blown up. Like he didn't just die; he was fucking blown up. In like a terrorist bombing.
Him and his daughter, I think.
Yeah, it was some shit.
Something it was like crazy. That, but yeah.
But yeah, then Malik took over, and that's when you started to see the veneer slip with Michael and the different things they did with him. That was under the Malik Akkad regime of shepherding Michael Myers to the big screen, and some missteps along the way, but this one I love this. When I saw it first, I didn't appreciate it because obviously I was younger and I'm like, where the fuck is Michael Myers? But then I'm watching it going like, man, this is just a badass movie. Like I see what they're okay. It's like you figure out what they were going for. And this is Tommy Lee Wallace directed this. He's a Carpenter guy. Dean Cundy did the director of photography, which he did on so many other movies, including a little film called Jurassic Park that he was director. I
don't think I've ever heard of that.
It's small independent movie, never had any impact on cinema or CG or bringing fucking dinosaurs. Nothing. Just a little movie. Carnosaur is more popular than Jurassic Park, I believe.
Velocipaster.
Don't get him started. Oh no, you triggered him.
I think I've heard almost every stream. I somehow brought it up almost every stream.
God, never seen it.
Now, would you say that this Halloween 3 was like where you like started to like this is your first introduction to Tom Atkins, like where you're like, oh, this dude's badass, or was it Night of the Creeps?
I saw Night of the Creeps first. And that was my first exposure to Tom Atkins, was Night of the Creeps. And I actually, it's funny because it's right in the back of my chair. Here's my my Night of the Creeps hoodie with emblazoned with Tom Atkins, and down the one sleeve, all it says is "Thrill Me."
The first time I saw Tom Atkins was in TV that he did. I think it might have been either Homicide, Life on the Street, or Law and Order. It was one of those two. I remember seeing him in. And then this movie was the first movie I saw him in.
Okay.
My first exposure to him was the My Bloody Valentine 2009 remake.
Yeah.
That was my first exposure to him, and
shit.
Wow.
Yeah, he was in the original too, I think, wasn't he? Was he in the original?
I don't think so.
No, I thought he was. Fuck.
No, I'm pretty sure he wasn't.
All right, but no, the remake is almost better than the original.
No way.
I know. I remember we reviewed that on your channel last year. I remember.
Have you seen that?
No, that remake was bad. The remake
My Bloody Valentine.
I haven't.
You haven't seen either of them, Jason? Watch the original.
I'm so behind on a lot of stuff.
Just watch the original. What up, Slasher McSplitter? We got Elizabeth.
Cool name.
Okay. I have no idea how to pronounce your first name. I'll butcher it, but I think the last name is Mikhail. Hello from Brazil. Hello, hola. That's the extent of my Espanol, so please don't speak Spanish in the chat. Jeremy Nix, favorite vampire movie? Ooh, that's tough. But it's a toss-up between Lost Boys and John Carpenter's Vampires. It's so difficult for me to pick one.
Yeah.
It really is, because I fucking love anything John Carpenter does. And James Woods, I'm actually going to do a parody of that because I have the leather coat and I just don't have the James Woods hair. But I love John Carpenter's Vampires. Lost Boys, I would say slightly by a hair, because that movie was so ingrained in me from my childhood. I saw that as soon as it hit VHS. My cousins were watching it, and it was like I watched it over and over and over again. And the soundtrack, I still listen to Tim Capello. Like, I still believe, baby.
Do you have a favorite vampire film?
Well, it depends on which category it goes in.
It doesn't matter if it's got a vampire,
Well, Lost Boys is obviously, a good one for sure. That's one of my favorites. But I also do like the one movie where it's like, is it My Best Friend's a Vampire or something like that? Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
That sounds familiar.
Blade or something.
What is it?
Blade.
Well, that too. Yeah, Blade, obviously. But I'm thinking of like 80s though, like older. Like My Best Friend's a Vampire. Like that's a good one if I think of the name correctly. It's kind of funny, but it's just a good like cheesy, vampire movie. But then also, what's that one? I forget what it's called. What's that one vampire movie that was really funny that had I think Jim Carrey in it?
Oh, Once Bitten?
Yeah. Once Bitten.
That one's funny for like the comedy aspect of it. So
I have 3 vampire films that are like my all-time favorite.
Vampire Girl.
No, it is not Vampire Girls. It is Fright Night, the original 1 and part 2.
Yep.
And From Dusk Till Dawn, the first one.
Oh yeah, those are good. Yep, I like those too. Mine are Fright Night, Lost Boys, and then I would say those are my top 2 favorites, I would say.
I actually like all of the Fright Nights. I even like the Colin Farrell one. I thought that one was pretty badass.
Fright Night yet.
Yeah, I didn't mind that remake.
I haven't seen that one.
Wow.
I barely remember Fright Night 2. I own the original, but I've never seen the remake with Colin Farrell. I've heard it's good, and from all reports, Colin Farrell has been amazing in the Penguin show, which I've been meaning to watch. I just haven't had time. There's a lot of good vampire movies. We just watched, and the new Salem's Lot we just watched. It wasn't terrible.
I liked it.
I didn't hate it. We did a Patreon commentary for it. We're gonna do one for the original, And I still got this to give away. The Thing 3-disc collection, the original Thing from Another World, the 1984, and of course the 2011 one I've never seen before. But I got a copy of this myself. We got one to give away. The next person who joins on Patreon or as a channel member, any tier, you message me and I send this to you. I cover shipping, all that happy horse shit. That's on me. So anybody who joins, there's a little incentive right there. You get a, because the Kazooians, you join that, I send you a fucking kazoo and a trading card. So if you join on that, you get an extra gift today or whenever you fucking join. We haven't given this thing away yet. I mean, if you join and I've already given it away, I mean, I can send you a pen or, best thing I can do is I can lend a hand. I don't know. Look, I don't want people. I don't want people to lose their heads over this. Okay, I don't.
Keep going.
I don't. My wig is back there. I can't reach it right now, but I donned the wig last night. Hang on a second before we start. I'll do it. We'll do this one time here for the kids.
Mikhail's not wrong. Halloween is super classic. It's classic, but my opinion, I think it is really overrated as like one of the ones that everyone says like you need to watch Halloween 1, like the very first one.
That's kind of like the same with like Texas Chainsaw, the first one.
I would prefer watching that over the first Halloween. It's classic.
Oh, man. I'll take Halloween. Disagree. Halloween, the first Halloween is really what got me hooked on horror.
Did you catch that? Her microphone muted out a little bit.
I said the first Halloween is what got me hooked on horror.
Well, I mean, then it has a more special place in your heart.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I'm done.
Oh, another vampire movie that's good. Hotel Transylvania, the animated one. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, that's just good. This is
good.
This is what it is. This is good. This is what it is. I think for the rest of the night, I'm just going with this look. I'll be playing the role of Ellie Grimbridge. I'll be sleeping with Tom Atkins after just meeting him when my father died, and I was like, "Hey, let's go look for my dad's. What happened to him? And I'm gonna bang you."
Yeah.
Okay. This is what's gonna happen. But I mean, Tom Atkins is, it's Tom Atkins. It was the mustache. That's what got her. But I gotta comb this thing out. I haven't combed it yet. Gotta learn how to braid. They're like, oh my God, he's bald. Holy shit. Welcome to the program, everybody. Welcome to the program. I know that dollar store wig. I may or may not have killed a Vietnamese hooker to get this fucking shiny black hair. I'm just kidding, YouTube. Don't demonetize me. I'm doing so well. That's a lie. Anyway, folks, we have a movie to review tonight. And to do that, we'll start with this. All right, so Halloween 3, and we start out with Harry Grimbridge, and he's running. This is what we saw at the beginning of the credits here. I love that because it literally reminds me of me before I start every show. I'm scrambling around, running all over the phone. Oh, I forgot this in this room. This is over here. I got to go over here. Yeah, that's basically me. So Harry is running from the gray. I call them the gray suits. I got fucking wig hair stuck in my ear now.
I mean, did they have a name?
I just call them the gray suits. They're just the gray suits.
Yeah.
Kind of like the red shirts in Star Trek, but they do the killing instead of dying.
They're hitmen.
They are. They're like fucking android robot fucking hitmen.
Hitmen, yeah.
So he's I love how he kills the one in between the cars. Like he pulls the chain to pull the wheel stop out from under. It rolls in and crushes the guy's shoulders. It would have been better if I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, please hit it. Like I was thinking his head. It's gonna pop like a fucking grape, But it hits his shoulders and like crushes him. So he's dead.
What makes it funny is the fact too is like as the robot guy is on top of him, choking him out, and he's over here pulling the chain, grabbing. It's like, how does he not paying attention to what he's doing? Yeah.
No. He's so fixated on the choking.
Yeah.
We also don't know that they're automatons yet. We don't learn that till later.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we don't figure that out until
like the very end, like almost the very end, like definitely late in the third act.
Yeah, it's when he takes out Dick Warlock, because Michael Myers gets to play one of the gray suits, and I have to say, man, I have so much more respect for Dick Warlock after really like studying the way he played a gray suit in this. Like, I can just imagine, because his facial expression never fucking changed that whole movie. It was just stone face. Mm-hmm. And I kind of picture him doing that under the mask, like the entire time he played Michael.
I mean, I had the same like impression when I saw that scene again. I was like, damn, that's Michael right there. I just knew it without even like catching the face automatically.
Just the way he moves, his motions and everything. He still maintained that, like, I think he's dead. I'm pretty sure Dick Warlock passed away, but that would have been something I would have loved to have asked him. And I wonder, I'm sure somebody had to along the way, like, in that role, did you kind of, continue the Michael Myers type persona, via the gray suit, because everything was identical to the way he moved in part 2. I just really like that as like a character. Like, it worked for me. It looked cool, and just added something to someone with no personality traits, no really characteristics outside of
Dick Warlock is still alive.
Is he?
Yeah, he's still alive. He's 84.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah, that's what Manliness was just saying.
Okay. Yeah. We gotta fucking. I want to ask him that if he's still. I do. I would love.
The last post was he was doing a convention last month. I don't know where it was at, but that was the first thing that popped up, and I was like, "Damn, he's still doing this."
That's crazy.
That's awesome. That's like, what's his name? Lloyd Kaufman. I saw him a couple years ago, and he's like this little old white Jewish dude, and he was wearing a Tupac Thug Life jacket. It was fucking awesome, like an airbrushed baby blue Tupac jacket. Oh man, yeah. Atkins is 88. I knew Tom's still around. That man is a fucking treasure. We have to protect Tom Atkins and his mustache.
Yes.
So Harry gets away. He runs to the gas station where he meets Slick, the Doctor of Styles, who sang the Akeem theme song, who's running the gas station. And, he's watching TV, and the Halloween ad is playing on the TV.
Wait a minute. Right before that, the news is on, and they're doing a segment about Stonehenge, that there's a piece of Stonehenge missing.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's very pertinent to the plot. Yep. So they make a great point to show you this news broadcast. It says one of the fucking stones from Stonehenge is missing. It's been stolen. What up, Gap After Dark? Hail Digsby. Hail Manliness. So the power goes out after that because the commercial kicks on. Power goes out, and the dude's looking around, and all of a sudden Grimbridge comes out of nowhere and fucking grabs him. He's like, "They're coming for us." And the gas station attendant's like, "Why did you edge him?" I mean, I'm sorry, I should have made that joke. But so he takes him. He's like, all right, he's gonna take him to the fucking hospital. So
he's holding the mask in his hand.
The mask. Yep, he's had it in his pocket. You could see it when he was running. He's had one of the Silver Shamrock masks, the pumpkin, and so they go to the hospital, and we go to the hospital. We meet Dr. Dan Chalice, who he's not there yet, but we cut to him next, and he's at his bitchy ex-wife's house. Who is played by Nancy Loomis, who played Annie Brackett in Halloween 1. And I may or may not have had a crush on her in that movie for some reason. And then I saw her in this, and I'm like, she's a typical older Jewish woman. She's just going to nag. So Tom goes over. He's supposed to be picking the kids up. He brings them these brown paper bags. I'm like, why is he bringing his kid weed? Like, why is he bringing his little kids weed? Like that. That's the only thing you would have in that bag in 1980. Someone would be like weed or some other kind of illicit drugs. But no, he brings them masks, and they're like, wah, wah. It doesn't stack up because Mom already got him silver shamrock masks, which are much fucking cooler. So as he starts to talk to the ex-wife, his pager goes off. I know, it's 1982. He had a fucking pager. He was a doctor, not a drug dealer, okay? Calm your tits, FBI. So he calls and he's got to go back to the hospital. There's an emergency. And of course, his wife, who was married, ex-wife, who was married to him, and I'm sure he was a doctor when they were married, understands that when you're married to a doctor, especially an ER doctor, well, there's times where they're just going to have to cut and run and go. So she, of course, gets mad because he was supposed to take the kids, and I'm sure she was ready to go out and get dick down or something. So she's pissed. Monkey wrench got thrown in her plans. So she's got to stay with these two punk ass kids. And I'm like, at the end of the movie, I'm just sitting there going like, those two annoying, ungrateful little brats. Their dad just bought them shit, and they're like, fuck you, Dad. Well, good. Wear your punk ass silver shamrock mask your mother bought and die, kids. Die. No more child support for me. But so he goes back to the hospital, and this is where we find out the patient it's Harry Grimbridge from the beginning. And I love the guy that brings him in. He's like, hey, I'm not going to be in any trouble, am I? There's no trouble. It's like, I don't see why there would be. The guy's just like, okay. He fucking just leaves. He's like, I'm out of here. There's going to be a police report. He's like, nah, fuck this. I'm out. I got warrants. I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm gone. So he cuts, and Chalice, I like this because the guy says, Grimbridge says they're going to kill us, all of us. And Chalice looks at him and he says, hey, give him, I don't know if it was 100 milligrams of Thorazine, which I wrote in my notes. That's funny because that's what they gave to Michael at one point, was Thorazine. I believe in the beginning of part 4 when they were transporting him. Yeah, they gave him Thorazine. That's what it was.
Huh. I remembered I watched last night after, it was last night, right? Yeah, we watched Halloween 3, and then after you left, I watched Halloween 2018, and that scene happened where Michael was about to get transported, and they were talking about that same drug. Like, yeah, make sure you give him this, and
that's what. Yeah, they always use Thorazine in movies to sedate like patients and whatnot.
I don't have any experience with it, so I don't know. But I'm like, is that a? I was wondering if that was like a common like tranquilizer. It must, it must be.
Yeah, it is.
So
yeah, they have other like that. That's an old one. They have other ones now.
Yeah, they use fentanyl. Keeps it quiet for hours, baby. What's up, Anime Night? Hail, brother. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Wait, so we used other chemical restraints when I worked at the mental hospital. Oh, I'm sure. But this is funny because when they're leaving the room after they get Grimbridge, they get him stabilized. Chalice is leaving with the nurse, Agnes, and he fucking they're walking down the hall. He gives her a slap on the ass. And he says, I should have married you. And she's like, careful now. I play for keeps, child. And he was like, I bet you do. I bet you do. And I was like, God damn, HR would have been all over that shit.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, that's just normal in the hospital.
It's just normal in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, like, he slaps her on the ass, right? And then he's fucking hitting on the ME, Teddy, the blonde chick. He's like, she just walks up and just, when she's saying goodbye, she just kisses him on the mouth. I'm like, are they in France? Like, so they're basically alluding to like him, like, having something with her. I'm like, I can see why this guy's divorced. Shit. Like, motherfucker's like, what's dude's name? Michael Mancini from Melrose Place, Thomas Calabro's character. Dr. Mancini, he like banged every fucking actress on that show that was worth it. What's up, Travis Mitchell? It's going well, sir. Good to see you. So what else we got? Oh, so he goes into the doctor's lounge to sleep, and we've seen the gray suit kind of making his way into the hospital. his slow approach. And this part is fucking. I wish they could have showed this kill like in full, because he just like crushes the guy's skull and like pulls it apart. I'm like, this motherfucker was Art the Clown. I was like, I remember seeing where Art ripped a guy's skull in two. Like, I remember that very, very vividly.
Yeah.
Images never left me. But no. So it was a cool kill scene. And what's even better is Nurse Agnes walks in. What are you doing in here? Oh, and he's like just wiping his hands off on the fucking curtain, like,
yep.
You know,
and he walks out.
To do. Yeah, just something to do. And they fucking, he walks out and Chalice is chasing him. And I love how calm he just gets in his car, takes the gasoline, takes a bath, and just all of a sudden, boom, fucking blows himself up. Like, okay.
Yeah. I was like, why?
It's like, all right.
I thought he wanted to get away with it.
Well, that's pretty much their job, is just to take care of, you know.
Yeah. They're expendable, you know. Terrifier today is at 23 million.
Yep.
Oh, that movie it's gonna bury Joker. It's it beat it.
It already has.
It's fucking hilarious. It looks like Peter Cetera from Chicago. That's a reference right there. That's a deep cut. That is a deep cut. I respect that. I do respect that. That's an old reference. But no, so we get that, and it blows up. And I said this scene is just unsettling. The kill scene, because there's no noise. Like, you just hear a little bit of the struggle, and it's him just crushing, just one hand just crushed the guy's fucking skull. It's like, oh, you know, and you just kind of see him thrashing around, and it just stops. And it's like, it's so understated, but it's so fucking violent at the same time, which is, like I said, that just kind of adds that unsettling factor to it. You know, it's again, for me, a lot of the times I don't mind. There's some cases I don't mind the gore. Like, in context, yeah, like Terrifier, that's all about that gore. Like, there's no ambiguity necessary there. It's like, hey, he's going to split this motherfucker like a log and then play with the bits. Okay. All right. So I know what I'm in for. You know, it's, you know, these type of kills, it's just like, because you're that way, it makes you kind of like envision it in your head, like you're filling in the blanks. It just one of the things I like about that, just the style they went with. Shit, this actually went to the bottom. Trina, you got anything on that? I know you take notes.
After he gouges his eyes out.
Yeah, blows up. Yeah.
Yeah, and then then he goes out in the parking lot. Well, the nurse is screaming, and Chalice goes after him, and we see the guy sets himself on fire. Yeah, and then the cops are there at the hospital, and you know, doing the investigation, and then we see that guy, forget his name now. That guy's daughter comes in to identify him.
Harry Grimbridge. Ellie.
Yes,
Ellie's daughter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when we meet Ellie.
The very lovely Stacy Nelkin.
And then, so then he's talking to the coroner, and at first, that coroner lady is like, well, they're saying drugs, and Chalice is like, no, I know what, you know, drugs look like. That was definitely not it. So he asks her, like, as a favor for her to look into it. And then he's at the bar, and it's Friday, October 29th. And there's a TV on at the bar, and it's on. We see Halloween, the first Halloween, on, and it's the narration on the TV says the immortal classic, and then he like asks him to switch the channel, and then it goes to the Silver Shamrock commercial, and he can't stand that either. So he tells him to change it, and the bartender's like, "What, you have no, like, you don't like Halloween or something like that?" And then and then Ellie turns up at the bar.
I'm sorry. I was laughing at Manliness's comment.
The baby
one? Yeah. Did you get that too when Ellie shows up at the bar? She's like, I called the hospital. The nurse said I might find you here. It's like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like, this dude, like, he's a doctor, but okay. He's obviously a mess. He's hanging out in a dive bar. Mm-hmm. You know, he chain smokes. He's sleeping at the hospital. You know, the nurses know that they can find him at this particular dive bar, you know, at a random time of the day when he's not at work. It's like, this man is not living his best life.
Yeah, he's
a mess.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his wife or ex-wife complaining, you need to be here with the kids. And then he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go to the bar.
Yeah. Oh, that gets better. That gets better because when he calls her and I can't get the kids. 2 men died at the hospital. And he's like, yeah, I'll take the kids on Saturday, whatever, all night. And he picks up that silver shamrock mask, and he carried to the hospital. And, you know, he's kind of, at this point, he's trying to, this is right before he meets Ellie. He's trying to connect the things because the commercial keeps popping up. He notices that the mask, it's all kind of tied in. I love this where I think it's after the bar scene, where he goes out and he calls his wife. He calls his ex-wife and says, I got to go to a conference. Yeah, it's just boring doctor stuff. And he gets in the car with this young, hot piece of ass. And he's like, okay, I'll help you go solve your dad's murder. Like,
yeah, I'll be back for Halloween to take the kids out trick-or-treating. Don't worry, but I got to go. I got to go to this conference.
This
he goes, nope, psych, hops in the car.
Yeah, I'm like, damn. Wait, what's this? Drive-in theater next town over is having a horror movie marathon Friday and Saturday. 6 films for $20. Oh my God, that would be fucking awesome.
That's cool.
Especially I've never been to a drive-in. I've never been to a drive-in.
Oh God, I went almost religiously as a kid. I saw so many like they're kind of bad films, but like now they're just like it has like such a special spot in my heart. Like I saw Public Enemies there with oh God, what the hell is Johnny Depp? You ever heard of that?
It sounds familiar, but I don't know if I've seen it.
Transformers 1 and 2, and then Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage.
Which drive-in was that at?
Dude, like I was like a kid. Like 2007 is when that Ghost Rider film came out.
Oh, yeah,
I like the Ghost Rider movies. They're schlock, but they're fun.
Did you see Long Legs with Nicolas Cage yet?
Yes.
I fucking love that movie.
Me too.
Have you seen Pig with Nicolas Cage? No, I'm just kidding.
What?
Pig with Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, I saw that.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's good.
It's pretty good, but Long Legs is something else. Me.
Oh yeah, you showed me that.
I showed you that clip, and
I was like, "What is this?"
That movie was fucking crazy. It was fantastic, but it was crazy. So they're on their way.
I've only been into a drive-in theater once, like I was saying though, and the first time I saw something at a drive-in theater was when they played Purple Rain for around the time he passed away, and that was kind of a weird experience because like it was a weird setup for the drive-in theater, but also sitting there watching it the whole time perfectly fine until the end of the movie where he starts singing it. It actually started raining a little bit while we were watching the movie, and I'm like, "This is weird."
Rad. That's weird.
You told me about that. And I was like, wow.
I'm like, this is a weird experience, but it fits.
Right. That's fucking cool though, man. I got that vinyl. I have the Purple Rain album on vinyl. That's fucking.
I have it on vinyl too. I have the original. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the original.
Prince was a fucking transcendent artist. And had it not been for him, we might not have ever discovered Carmen Electra. So 15-year-old Etep thanks you for that posthumously, Prince. Very much so. But so they're off to Santa Mira, and on the way there, Dan's kind of giving him the rundown of the town, giving Ellie the rundown. We get some exposition, and the history of the town. It's largely Irish. It's it's a factory town, basically, founded by Conall Cochran, or he basically he's the founder of Silver Shamrock. And I love the ominous music. Of course, it's a fucking Carpenter score. Well, no, this was Alan Howarth, I think, did this. Yeah, this was Howarth did this one.
Was it after he called on the phone? Was that before or after they went to, I guess, her dad's hardware store to kind of like look at
another Halloween film with a hardware store?
After the bar is when she tells him about how her father kept meticulous records. So
like people coming in and stuff. So they're looking at the list of names.
Yes.
Yep.
And the dates and stuff, and like he had
and that's
October
when they came across the Cochran dude or whatever it was, because he was like because he had a mass display in his hardware store.
Yes.
Yep. And that's where he went. That was his last pickup, and then he missed his dinner date with that one lady, and that's when he had gone missing. So they get to Santa Mira, and they go to the Rose of the Shannon motel, which they meet. What's that guy's name? Mr. Rafferty. Mr. Rafferty is the innkeeper.
Yeah, because on the way in, everybody's just like, who are these people?
Yeah, Stacey Nelkin says it's like being in a fishbowl. Yeah, because everybody's looking at it, and that's what Tom Atkins says. Yeah, it's a company town. Everybody knows everybody's business. Everybody works, they're related to the factory in some way or another. But yeah, I love this when they go to the inn and Dan runs down to check in, and he's looking at the log book, and he comes back, and Buddy, here come the Kupfers, the Kupfer family, Buddy Kupfer, his wife, and little Buddy, and the bike flies off and almost hits Tom Atkins, and the wife's fucking yelling at him, and the little shit gets out and starts riding his bike around. He's a ginger. He's got no soul. So he's riding his fucking bike around. He's like, I don't care if I get hit. I'll just descend. And so this guy that plays Buddy Kupfer, he was actually really good friends with Tom Atkins. And he's a really good character actor too. So Atkins recommended him, and that's how he got the gig. And then we meet Marge Gutman here, who is another traveling salesperson who has to deal with Silver Shamrock. She's bitching about the room, and the actress that plays Marge Gutman was actually Tom Atkins' wife. I don't know if they're still married or what, but she was that's his wife, which it makes it even funnier when he's banging Stacey Nelkin in that scene, and his wife is on the other, across the thin hotel room wall. But
I didn't know that.
Was yeah.
I made a joke to him when we were watching it, when he comes flying in the RV as well, being like, "Oh, it's Cousin Eddie,"
Morning, neighbor. Shitter's full.
Yeah. Morning, Clark.
Don't you go fall in love with that, because I'm gonna need it when I leave next month.
Let's see. And they saw one of the gray suits. They didn't see him, but they showed one of the gray suits standing in an alley watching him when they pulled into town. And they showed one of the surveillance cameras. Very, it predates, but it's very 1984-esque, the surveillance camera style. So yeah, they get checked into the inn. We meet Marge Gutman, and she's bitching she has to stay in this dump again because they screwed up another one of the orders. So I love this back and forth. So they're back in the hotel room, and Dan's like, well, yes, we can stay the night or whatever. These clothes are good for another day. And she's like, you do that? And he's like, yeah, maybe we get another room or sleep in the car. It'd be better than this floor. And well, where do you want to sleep? He comes over and he kisses her. He's like, that's a stupid question, Mitch Grimbridge.
When that landed, I was like, that's your answer?
I was like, huh?
Yeah. I was like, all right, Tom, you go, Tom.
It's the mustache, I tell you.
I'm fucked, dude. I almost, when I went to the barbershop today, I was almost like, hey, look, just shave it all off, everything, and we'll just leave the mustache. We'll just see how that goes. That would not be a good look. I look like a cop or a mental patient. I'm not sure. Probably the latter.
70s porn director.
If I grew my hair out, and I grew it out and just did the comb over with it, it would definitely be a 70s porn director. Like I've got the shirts for it, like the bowling shirts and everything for it. It would be, it would be perfect. Let's see. Oh, we cut away and we get the curfew sounds at this point. They're announcing that it's 6 p.m.
Watch your headphones.
6 p.m. curfew, and everybody's got to fucking be inside. Please, confine your activities inside your homes. And, we see the cameras scanning all over the town. And, of course, Dan is leaving a liquor store. He's like, I need a drink. Of course, he just got laid. He needs a drink. So he goes to the liquor store, and that's where he runs into, and I just called him the Jakey Bum, because that's what we used to call my great uncle Johnny, who actually was a Jakey Bum who lived on the streets of Las Vegas until he died. One of my grandma's brothers. We had like 1 or 2 pictures of him that family members caught happened because they were looking for him when they went out there on vacation. And here's Uncle John living on the strip in an alley. But yeah, so the Jakey Bum here is don't cry for me, Argentina. It's fine. He's long gone, and he made bad choices. That's how he ended up living in an alley in Las Vegas.
But that's when the bum says that bottle looks heavy.
That bottle looks
heavy. I love that line. I was like, that is like one of the funniest lines. That bottle looks heavy. Like it's just so unironic, just ironically funny. Yeah. He's like, I ain't got no diseases or nothing. And it's like, this is. He's like, he's like, God damn it. We're not on Patreon. I can't say it the way I want to say it. But he's like, well, you don't look gay. You can have a sip. I'm not in any danger of getting AIDS. I'm just kidding. I shouldn't have said that. But it was the 80s. It was very prevalent. So I guess the joke fits. I'm not apologizing for it.
It's a movie.
So he gives the bum. I mean, wait, now you got like hepatitis, like A through Z. You got to worry about fucking, what is that one that you get off the handles of like shopping carts? MRSA. MRSA. That shit is nasty, dude. MRSA's fucking gross. Like, there's so much nasty ass shit back then. Like, just take a sip, man. Fuck it. It's to the point now where, like, if I'm in a social situation and I start like smoking weed and I don't know the people, I'm just like, they're like, oh, can I hit that? I'm like, yeah, here's another joint. Just take that. You know what I mean? If I don't know you, if I don't know you, look, not like that. Not yet. You got to get to know each other a little first before you fucking be smoking off my shit. But, yeah. Trina, you can chime in at any time. I can shut the fuck up.
No, it's okay. You got it.
All right. So we've got so the bum walks away. And I'm rather impressed with this bum. The bums in the Halloween series, they live pretty decent. Like this bum, he's got like a nice little shanty with power because he was going to turn a light on. He's got some sort of power. The homeless guy in Revenge of Michael Myers, he had a shack on the river. I mean, he didn't have to pay property taxes. Look, my family's got riverfront property. I know what property taxes are on the fucking rivers, okay? This guy wasn't paying property. He was living good. Like, he was living the life. He's fishing. You teach a man to fish. He's never going to go hungry. He built a shanty. So this guy, the poor guy, all he wanted was a job at the factory. They turned him down flat, said no. So he was like, I'm going to blow this fucking place up. This is the last Halloween they're ever going to have. And he walks back to his shanty, and then all of a sudden, the gray suits show up. And when the gray suits show up, you're going to have a bad time. And he's put on his knees like a commie facing the ditch at the end of it all when they don't know why they've been a useful idiot. And this guy discovers what happens to useful idiots when Dick Warlock himself, Michael fucking Myers, rips his head clean off, which just looked, and then he stands there and the two of them are just standing there and and you get the blood splatter out of his neck. I was like, I love it. I loved it.
It was pure 80s. Mm-hmm. Just
yes, just a fountain. That was a cool scene.
And the reason why they went after him was because I'm blanking on the name of him already in the movie, but because when he asked him for the drink, he was like, "So what's up with this place?" He was like, "What's going on here?" And then he tells them, and then that's what like they figured out. It's like, oh, he's spreading rumors and saying what's going on. He's telling. Kill.
He's a run tell that. He's a run tell that. You're talking about Tom Atkins' character. That's Dan Chalice. Yep. Yeah. He was. This guy was spreading misinformation, and the guy, instead of a black van, they just showed up wearing gray suits and pulled his head off his shoulders.
Yeah, they're like, all right, we got you. We're just gonna come and rip your head off. It's fine.
They're like, misinformation is dangerous to our democracy. And they pulled his fucking hat off. How dare you say it started in a lab?
Yoink.
Can we make that joke now? Are we far enough removed we can make? Okay. Wait, the government's endorsed that? Okay, we can make that joke. All right. Demonetized. YouTube, I'm not a doctor. I just played one on a movie one time. Just one time. And all I wore was a stethoscope, so I don't even think it really counts. So Ellie runs into Marge Gutman when she's walking back to the room, and Marge shows her the mask she had, and she says, my 4-year-old was throwing this thing against the wall, and usually it hangs up or it holds up, but the trademark shouldn't just fall off. And she's got the little silver shamrock pin that's attached to the back of all of the masks. Mm-hmm. So Marge goes in her room, drops it on the floor, and then she's getting ready for bed. And then we cut to okay, this scene bothers me, and for a couple of reasons, and it shouldn't, but it does, because it really doesn't fucking make a difference in the grand scheme of the movie at all. But Ellie gets out of the shower, right? She gets out of the shower. She runs into the main area of the fucking hotel room, which the door was open, so it's going to be a little bit cold in there anyway, unless you had the heat turned up in the room really, really fucking hot. But you obviously didn't because you're freezing. You didn't dry off. You ran out there and grabbed the comforter from the bed.
Wraps herself in a towel, and it's like, this isn't enough. Grabs the blanket, wraps herself up, and it's like, what?
I saw her do that, and I was like, oh, you bitch.
I was like, why?
I know. I'm like, why would you do that?
Why would
that makes no sense. What? First of all, look, you should dry off and then get dressed, and then you won't be cold.
Yeah, it's warmer in the bathroom because you used hot water.
Yes. And you won't be getting the fucking comforter from the bed all fucking wet.
Yeah.
But that, regardless of that fact, it doesn't matter, because Dan, he comes back and she fucking and then here's the lingerie, and then we get fucking
wrapped in the same wet comforter, and it's like, look at me.
Yep.
How did you do that?
How'd you get that lingerie on underneath there when you came out with nothing but a fucking towel on? You were butt naked getting out of the shower.
Yeah.
Witch.
Yeah, witchcraft burned her at the stake. Witchcraft, I tell you. So they're gonna, they do their thing. He's getting this fucking swerve on here, and then he's got to run out and call his other girl. He's got to call his I don't know, Trina, help me out here. Stacy Nelkin now, Dan Chalice and Ellie. Is she his main, and Teddy is now his Gumar? Is that how that works?
No, I think they're both just like side pieces.
Okay.
Or like not even, I don't even think they're that. They're just like girls he messes around with. I don't think he even has one.
Yeah.
He's just kind of a player all around.
I knew I liked Tom Atkins, but now I love the guy. I just want to hug him. I just want to hug Tom Atkins and be like, you're a hero, Tom. You're a fucking hero. Your characters is stuff that legend is made of. Like,
he's
seriously.
a piece of shit. He doesn't even see his own kids.
His kids are fucking pricks, ungrateful little dickholes. He bought him fucking masks. Like, fuck you, Dad. He's like, hey, I'm fucking paying your mother. What the fuck is your mother doing with my child support money? Out running the streets. That's the only reason she's pissed, because I can't take you little brats on Saturday, because she can't go meet her fucking her boy toy on the side there, Raul, the pool boy.
That's your headcanon about his life.
That's my headcanon for what his wife does when she doesn't have the kids. The rare occasion she's running around getting dicked down by some Puerto Rican who cleans the pool that they may or may not have. I don't know. Is Raul Puerto Rican?
Yeah, it could be.
He could be from Argentina, but he's not a Nazi. I don't know. He's not fucking. What's that guy's name that's in it? Pablo or Pedro Pascal. He's not Pedro Pascal. Let's see what else. So Marge picks up the trademark for the No, wait, I missed something here. So Dan calls Teddy. All right, we got off on the Gumar thing. Dan calls Teddy. She says there's no results, but it looks like they've been trying to autopsy car parts. So she's kind of starting to like piece this together, and this just is confirming his suspicions that something is really messed up here. And he goes back to the room, and this is when Ellie opens her robe to reveal the lingerie, and Tom Atkins and his glorious mustache work their magic on Ellie as they bask. And this is exactly how I wrote it. As they bask in post-coital bliss, the Silver Shamrock song plays, and Ellie changes the station, then mounts Dan. After asking if she's tired, he asks how old she is. She says, I'm older than I look. And at this point, I just said, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, red flag.
You didn't stop to think to ask her how old she was before you decided to go out of town with her? I feel like Chris said, why don't you have a seat? Why don't you sit down? What do you have in the bag?
Have a seat right there.
What's in the bag?
Why do you have condoms, duct tape, and vodka? Why?
What am I supposed to make of this chat? Explain it to me.
I brought the chocolate. She asked for chocolate.
What we have here is we have printouts of all of. Would you like me to read some of these messages to you? But no, this was just fucked up. Like, obviously she's, I would say, like a 20-something. I believe that's probably where she lands, because her father lives there. She lives in LA. So I'm guessing she's college age, probably, like,
maybe.
So I don't think she's in high school. She would look 50 if she was in high school, because that's how the actors were back then.
She's like 22 maybe, and he's like 50.
Oh yeah, I'd say at this point he's 88 now. It's 2024. This was made 42 years ago. So I'm guessing he was probably in his 40s. There's probably a good, I'd say 20 to 22, 23 years between him. She was probably, I'd say 20 to 22, and he was in his mid 40s at that point. Yeah, that sounds 40. About right.
You're how old? How old?
Yeah, so I mean, look, if women do it, they get applauded. You know, if guys do it, we get shot. We're just fucked all around. We can't win. Trina, thanks. We can't win. We can't win. You know, all we want to do is be doctors, drink at cheap bars, fuck the medical examiner, the guy's daughter that got murdered, and slap the black nurse on the ass so she goes, ooh, chow!
Yeah, I know we're on a trip to go find what happened to my dad, but you want to, like, hook up?
Twice. I know.
Twice. It's just so...
Hey, my dad died, but, like, I really need some, like, support right now. Do you
Brief
mind, like,
sex.
Touch your penis.
Ellie, I'm really sorry about your dad. Take his pussy. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, Dan, gird your loins, bro. Gird your loins. All right. Can we, can we put some saltpeter in this motherfucker's food, Trina?
Oh my God, I forgot about that stuff.
There's another one you got to be of a certain age to get, I think. That's what they used to do to the sailors, my dad. That's what they do to those fucking Navy boys when they're on a ship. Give them saltpeter so they stop banging each other. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Dad.
Isn't that a myth?
Yeah. Well, my dad was a Marine, so the fucking the Marines and the Navy are fucking basically one and the same, except they call the Marines they're seagoing bellhops. That's it. And my dad says, what do you get when you get two Navy, they're having a dance on a Navy ship. The two Navy guys are fighting over who's going to lead. Oh, yeah. My dad looks like a cross between Clint Eastwood and Dick Butkus. Like that's what he looked. And Phil Robertson with his fucking beard and his hair because he's got like longer white hair. He's got a full head of hair. He's 77. I'm so angry and upset. I'm never gonna let that go. I'm never. He has this glorious Sean Connery-esque hair, and yeah. Fuck me, right? For the right price, I'm available. Let's see. So Marge, this is where Marge picks up the gimmick, the little trademark, and she takes her fucking hairpin out, which I didn't know you slept in those things. I didn't think that was good. Like,
I honestly thought it was a pair of tweezers she pulled out of her hair. I was like digging in it.
Why do you have those in there?
I'm like,
did she have hemos? Did she have like roach clips in her hair? Like Marge is getting down. Like Marge is my kind of lady, but she pulls it out and starts picking away at the back of the fucking gimmick, and the laser effect now it looks a little wonky, but what they did with her face looked fucking radical. It looks great. It's all peeled back. What the fuck does she look like? She looks like one of them garbage pail kids. Like, I still have a wig hair.
And the way they like made her eyes red, like that looked awesome. Yeah, and the potato bug that was crawling out of her face.
And Trey asked me this tonight because this is his favorite Halloween movie out of the entire all the ones that he's seen up to H2O. He's never seen the Rob Zombie ones. I won't subject him to that garbage. And I don't think he watched the David Gordon Green ones with me, but he's seen all the originals, if you will. So this is his favorite. This is the one he just automatically latched onto, and he's watched it, probably 10 times already, which I'm impressed. He loves this movie. He asked me, he goes, Dad, why bugs and snakes? I'm like, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is something with like Irish folklore with the snakes. That was the only kind of correlation I could. The bugs, I have no ididea. I have
some sort of curse, something spell.
Yep, that's because it's witchcraft. Because Cochrane is a wolf.
Yeah, it may not even have any meaning. It may just been like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we put snakes and bugs in there?
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah, because after the laser blows her face and makes her look like she ate a mortar shell, and then like a bug crawls out of her mouth and on her, and it's like, okay.
Oh, and I think I read that those crickets in that room later on when when the kid sits down in that room, I'm pretty sure those were real. Those bugs were real. I don't know about the snakes though.
They looked pretty real.
That snake looked pretty real.
Yeah,
it did look real. I know the bugs were real.
Yeah, the effects, most of the effects in this hold up. Like there's a few spots like the laser, but the practicals, they still look great. I love the look of the death scenes for the gray suits. When Ellie gets, we'll jump to the end of the movie. We're not jumping to the end of the movie, but just to talk about that for a second. When she gets torn apart, the look of it is fucking good. They paid. I can't remember what the budget was for this one. But they did a fucking spectacular job with the special effects. And this one has, it might sound weird, but the most special effects out of all of the originals, if you really think about it, with the way this one was done. I mean, I know it's a completely different animal compared to Michael.
Halloween 3 had a budget of $4.6 million.
Yeah, I just looked that up.
That's fairly sizable for 1982 for a slasher type movie.
And you know what? They made a profit on this movie.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they came in at $14.4 million at the box office in the U.S.
I knew it was.
But it's
15.
also still considered the poorest performing Halloween in the franchise, and I'm like, 14.4 million ain't enough.
Like you've tripled, over tripled your investment. And when you figure, I don't know what the marketing budget was. I'm sure marketing back then was maybe like $50K. It wasn't like it is now, where you're talking, we threw $200 million into marketing. Back then, like $100,000 for marketing against a $4 million budget. So they made money on this. They made money. Yeah, the audience reception, which I'm going to go into greater detail in my review of it. But yeah, this was a movie that needed time to breathe and to let people rediscover it and look at it for exactly what it is, which is a fucking perfect standalone story. It is. It's a creative. Dark.
Yeah.
It is. It's absolutely creative. And this is what they wanted to do with the franchise at this point, is turn it into an anthology, a different story every year.
Mm-hmm.
Which I liked this. I really did.
Yeah, it was gonna be a different story like set on Halloween.
Yeah. And I'm glad they didn't do that. Because number one, it gives this movie the opportunity to live for eternity as the one Halloween movie that's different, but fucking just as good in so many different ways. And then we would have never got my favorite, which is Part 4, The Return of Michael Myers, which that movie is kind of beat for beat with the first one. But like I said, I think Ellie Cornell, Rachel Carruthers' character is better than Jamie Lee Curtis. I do. I love Rachel in that movie. And it's not just because I was 8 years old and I had a crush on Ellie Cornell or anything. But no, I really do. Looking at her character, I find her to be almost more competent than Jamie Lee Curtis's character. And I really wish they wouldn't have killed her off. And Mustafa Khad even said he regretted allowing them to kill the character off, especially after seeing how poorly received the character of Tina was. Because my God, that movie has aged like milk, and about 50% of the blame is on Tina, and 50% of it is what they did with Dr. Loomis. And I'm Scott Steiner. I'm going to add another 50% and say sidelining Jamie Lloyd in that was the biggest fucking mistake. She's mute for 3/4 of the movie. You don't do that to a character that you've built up for an entire previous film. That's just poor decision making, But we're not talking about Halloween 4 or 5 right now. I go off on that tangent too. But so we are on. Let's see. So after Marge, her face is fucked. Like Jason said, so it's like she French kissed a mortar. So Dan and Ellie are awakened by the cars and car doors, and they watch as the white coats from the Silver Shamrock medical facilities show up. I just wanted one of them to walk around. La la la! Look at us, we're doctors. La la la! And what up, J-Man? Hail, brother. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you.
Hey, J-Man.
How's it going?
So they're walking around, and they pick up the body, and they say, "Oh, we're taking her to the factory." Or
get the best treatment. She's gonna get the best everything, because they're like, "What happened?" Oh, it's just a little accident. Because Cochran comes in. It's like, "Oh, no worries,
Yep.
Little accident. She's gonna be taken care of at the best facility in the factory." It's like, all right,
she'll be fine. It's gonna be good. She'll be Kevin. Fuck you.
We go and take it. It's the best facility ever. It's stupendous, tremendous, best facility, the biggest facility. It's huge. It's going to be the best facility you'll ever see. Great. Never see a better facility.
My head, that was a bullet, I swear. Okay. She's going to get the best.
We're gonna do her treatment bigly. She's going to be treated.
So she's getting treated.
Yeah,
she's getting treated. So they just throw her back. She's gonna go get treated, and Connell shows up, and As they're walking away, he turns around and Rafferty comes over and he's like, "What happened?" He's like, "Misfire."
Accident.
Yeah,
Oops.
accident. Misfire. And so they take her and we see the van pull into a garage over at the factory. So this brings us to Saturday, October 30th. And Teddy is on the phone with Dan and she tells him she's got nothing but mechanical parts. And as far as the gray suit who killed Harry, that's what she's got from the explosion. And Dan tells her to look into Cochran if she can. And that's when we see the phone he's using in the office is bugged. There's a wire running, and we know it's going to the factory. They're listening to all the phone calls. And I said, meaning Cochran knows that you can't trust these hoes.
Wasn't that when she asked, like, she says, "You're going to owe me so many dinners."
Yep. And he was like, shh. If by dinner you mean dick, then yes, I owe you dinner. And she was like, "No, I want a meal, not an appetizer." No, that was Samurai Cop. Have you guys ever seen that one?
No, still haven't seen that yet.
You need to watch that. You need to spend like 85 minutes and just melt your brain and watch it because it's not. I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to tell you that Samurai Cop was a good movie and that it fought the good fight and the sisters left it alone. No, because this is Samurai Cop and it is a dumpster fire of a movie, but it is fun to watch, especially for the one police officer with cocaine stuck in his nose during a shot and they never told him to take it out. He had coke like in his nose, like you could visibly see it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
yeah, but you might want to, you just breathe that in a little harder.
Yeah, just go like that. You'll be good, bro. You'll be good. But he did not
clean it up, Cocor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's see here. So we're at the Silver Shamrock office now. After Teddy and Dan get off the phone, Ellie's with Dan and they're talking to the receptionist, who reminded me of Angela Lansbury if she smoked 2 packs a day. Talking about her father's order, and she says, "No, it was delivered." And here comes Red, and Red's like, "Yeah, the order was delivered. And if you don't get out of here, I'll put my foot in your ass." And they're like, "Whoa!" Foreman was like, "Hang in it." No, so they're like, "Okay, that didn't land." But they get no, just like, okay, well, whatever. And they're kind of going to leave, and in comes Buddy Kupfer and the family, and Connell Cochran arrives and he congratulates Buddy on being the top salesman. He sold more masks than anybody in the entire country, meaning, which in context, in terms of the movie, it's like, oh, damn you, Buddy, which is kind of funny because Buddy meets his end here very soon. But they're going to go on a tour, the Kupfer family. And he invites Dan and Ellie, who accept, and they introduce themselves as Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which Brad and Angelina, I would rather see Stacey Nelkin and Tom Atkins than Brad and Angelina, to be honest with you, as Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I don't know, at their age, the fight scenes might be a little bit difficult. We could CG that, though. They did that with Count Dooku in 2002 in Attack of the Clones. Why can't we do it with Tom Atkins now? We have the technology. We could make this happen. AI Tom Atkins and AI Stacey Nelkin in their ages from this movie in a AI remake of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Take my fucking money. Take my money. Just take it. Do it. So they are, let's see. Oh, they're walking around and we go through basically like all of Cochran's like greatest like inventions and shit that he's come up with over the years. They're showing it's Kupfer even says, he goes, this is his Hall of Fame. And he was famous, he invented, was it sticky toilet paper, I think it was, which I'm like, oh God.
Knick-knack, like gag joke stuff.
Yep, gags. He was like the king of gags. So he tells them all his history, and they get to the area where the masks are finally, and little Buddy wants a mask, and he's like, oh, can I have this one? And Cochran's like, no, that hasn't been through final processing. Here, take this one. And the whole thing, they build up to the final processing, which is kind of funny, and I have a point about that later. So Buddy asks Cochran what he means about the final processing, and he plays it off to, trade secrets. And Cupford is like very persistent in wanting to know. And they walk by, and the door is like at the end of the corridor from them. And Chalice and Cupford are standing there. And he's like, and Cochran says, "Oh, there's volatile chemicals involved. I wouldn't want anybody to get hurt." And it's like, volatile chemicals right before these things go out. Motherfucker, these kids are putting these on their faces. And yeah. I'm like, I'm wondering, I was like, man, is that like subtext against like the industrial complex or something? Like, am I reading too much into that? Like, am I that high? I'm like finding like boogeymen that aren't there. Like,
no, specters. I think no, those boogeymen are there. Those masks were toxic. Like we had toxic toys. This was the 80s.
But no, so they Dan notices the gray suits are like posted up everywhere because they're kind of on like the loading dock at this point. And he goes over and he gets Ellie, who's talking to Mrs. Cupford. He's like, "Hey, it's time to go." And they're walking out, and I'm going to apologize here for this, but we'll just say her emotional response to seeing her father's car inevitably costs her life in this scene. Because as the forklift pulls out, she's like, "That's Papa's car," and fucking runs right over there. Like, emotional response, knee-jerk reaction, doesn't think, just runs right over. And all the fucking gray suits converge, and you see Tom Atkins is like, "Motherfucker, I don't know this bitch." He was like, shit. And then I guess time to hit the old dusty trail.
Time to move on to someone else.
Yep.
Get the fuck out of
here. Teddy, how you doing, girl? I'll be back in town sooner than planned. This one didn't work out.
I'll be back in the office the next day.
Oh, that was weird. No, keep going.
Okay. So then they pan back to Cochran and Cupford, and you see Cupford's kind of uncomfortable at this point. Like, he's like looking at Cochran's like, "Trade secrets." And Cupford kind of laughs like, "This motherfucker's crazy. What the fuck? What did I just see, And I don't even know what up, Tony? Tony had surgery today, and he's better now. He's healing. He's healing. So good to see you in the chat, bro.
Good luck in your healing, Tony.
Best of luck with him.
You what hand are you typing with? He's using voice chat to try to type in the chat. So let's see here. So Cochran, he jokes about the trade secrets with Cupford. And Dan and Ellie, they go back to the room. And this only happens because the plot needs it to. Because I'm sitting there with the wife, and I'm like, if we're in this situation, number one, we would have been gone a long time ago because we're smarter than that. Number two, he's like, "I'm gonna go make a phone call and leave you here alone to pack." Which I'm like, what's this bitch got to pack? She brought in a fucking, goddamn, my wig was in my weed box. She brought in a carrying case that was like a little bit bigger than this. Like this is what she had.
I mean, literally in the scene where the Reverend dude was like helping them take the luggage in earlier in the movie, it was like, light travelers.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's literally a 2x2 box or something.
But
it's like an old fashioned hat box, basically. Yeah. Is
like
what it
made out of wicker.
It's a picnic basket. Hey, boo boo.
Yeah.
So she's packing, and Dan comes back and he sees the doors open, and he fucking freaks out and he runs back. She's fucking gone. And then he looks out, and there's fucking the Power Rangers are out there. And I want to re-edit that scene and be like, din, 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 when they're all like illuminated, all the gray suits from the back. And they start converging on the room. And I don't know, I didn't write it down in my notes, but the one that breaks through the door, I'm like, that's so Michael Myers. Was that Dick Warlock? Because he was still alive at this point, his gray suit. I'm like, I can't remember.
Sure.
If it was
I think
him.
he did honestly bust the door down.
I mean, it's something his character probably would do. It's like something he specifically requests.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Michael Myers.
I'm Michael Myers, so I'm gonna break this door down.
Yep. I was like, I like that. So he escapes out the window in the bathroom, and he's running all over town, and he's got a duck and shit because there's the Silver Shamrock gray suit patrol units are out, and they're looking for him, and they comes to the he sees Ellie. Well, we see Ellie being taken out of the car because one of the cars pulls into the garage at the factory. You see her, and they're getting her out, and she's walking down the hall. So he's in a payphone, and he's trying to make a call, and it won't connect because it's the Silver Shamrock operator service. And motherfucker, you ain't dialing out. That's not happening tonight. So he let's see here. What is he just? So he ducks. And he gets access to the factory, climbs in a fucking window. And I made a notice. I really like the contrast. I mean, obviously it's like nighttime and we're outside, but I like the way this movie was lit. The colors like they're very muted in some scenes, and then you get really vibrant pops. Like when he walked into this room here, and it's all nice and well illuminated. There's so many different color palettes that they use with this. I don't know. I really like the way this was shot. And this is the thing I like about seeing these movies so many fucking times is this. I can sit there and just watch, specific like areas. I'm not necessarily paying attention to the movie. I'm just looking at like the cinematography or like the background shit, the way certain shots are lit and angled. I don't know. With these movies, it kind of, especially with horror movies, that really, that interests me more than any other film genre.
Did we pass or haven't gotten yet to the one woman, like looking at the parts from the car fire, her scene yet?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
She's looked at him a couple times, but not the full scene, the end scene yet. No, not yet. This is where he's sneaking around the inside, and he finds that old woman sitting there, and he goes up and he shakes her, and her fucking head falls off.
He finds out it's a mechanical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And because he's looking at the gears turning, and we
He's
find
going,
out
"What?"
later on. Yeah, Cochran tells him that particular one was, at that point, it was like 100 years old or just.
No, he was because after that happened is when the gray suits came and grabbed him.
Yep, and he kills Dick Warlock's gray suit at that point. He punches him in the stomach and pulls his wires out.
Stomach. Goo all over his hand. Goo comes out. Which
I believe that was actually frozen orange juice. In case
that reminded me of Phantasm.
Yes, that is very Phantasm-esque.
Yeah, after he kills that dude, they grab him, and he's coming in with the head, and he's like,
"What a shame."
He was like, "What a shame. That was my favorite piece. It's rare from like."
I heard like the 1800s.
I think he said it was like 1700 something, 1800 something.
I was like,
he was like, must find a replacement as soon as possible.
Yeah, he said it was made in Munich. It was made in Munich. Yeah, it was like 17. So it was like over 100, almost 200 years old.
Yeah.
Which is fucking insane.
Must find a replacement here soon. Mm-hmm. Just nonchalant, like, it's fine. I have money. I'll buy a new one.
And then the way he looks up at Chalice. He's like, "Oh, hi!" Like he was surprised. He did too. He was like, surprised to see him.
Hey!
Hi, Mark. He's like, "You're my best customer, Johnny." Let's see. So he tells. Cochran tells Chalice. He's like, "Mr. Chalice." He goes, "Dr. Chalice." He tells basically, "I know who the fuck you and the girl are." He's like, "Where is she?" But Cochran, so we're on Halloween now. And Cochran in the gray suits, they escort Chalice. We go to the final processing area. And this is when he sees Dick Warlock is back. and Cochran tells Chalice he uses ancient technology. And we see this room filled with computers. And that was the thing with this. It was like technological horror, this fusion of ancient and new at the time technology to, achieve his fucking master plan. So, we see that missing piece from Stonehenge that shows up in the shot, which is really fucking cool. And they're chipping away at it. And you're like, what the fuck? And he says, yeah, he goes, it was insane what we had to go through to get this here. He goes, it was crazy, basically. And he tells Chalice that it has powers, it has properties down to the particles in the stone, and he's going to test it. And this is when he shows Dan that video screen with Ellie strapped down to the gurney, and Mrs. Gutman is dead. He tells her she's dead, covered up. And the full demonstration is on the way as we see the Kupfers are being escorted by the gray suits into test room A, and they're locked in.
Mm-hmm.
So that was this. And I like to jump into this next scene where Buddy and his wife are talking, and he's like, I wonder why they won't take my order for next year. He goes, I've tried like multiple times and they don't even want to listen to it. He's like, but they want my thoughts on this commercial or whatever. He's confused as to why they won't process his order. Yeah, why am I here then?
And she's laughing hysterically. She's like, well, maybe they won't be in next year. And
yeah, because his wife sitting next to him is like, this is all a joke. This room's a joke.
This is a facade.
Yeah.
You dummy.
Yeah. So, yeah, because the first thing she did was she pulls the shades back, and it's just it's a curtain over the fucking wall.
Yeah.
So she was like, what?
Waste of time.
Yep. The fake fruit and everything. So this is when the Silver Shamrock commercial, Cochran gives the okay to play it, and we get the kid starts with his head, and mom's laughing.
It's Halloween.
And then he fucking keels over, and then the mom's like, oh shit. And you see the bugs and the shit start crawling out of the mask and the snakes. The mom freaks out. She has a fucking heart attack.
Too. It's a lot of stuff coming out of them.
Snakes.
Yeah, and it just
bugs, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, tell me the kid couldn't scream at all in the mask. He just went.
Oh. Yeah, no, he's just like, as is melting practically. No. Yeah, as the mask is like melting into his skin and it drops, and it's just like
Even the guy in RoboCop with the toxic waste was like. Little Buddy couldn't say shit though. So Big Buddy, he runs to the door, and to no avail, the handle it's locked, and he gets bit by one of the snakes, and fucking Cochran's just sitting there like, you guys seeing this shit? Like
whereas the main character, he's just sitting here just like, what is happening?
Covered in sweat.
He's just like, what is this? What's
How
happening?
could you?
He's just like,
and Cochran was like, you let me do this. It's an inside joke. Oh God.
And this is where Teddy is trying to reach the Rose of the Shannon Motel in Santa Mira, where Dan's staying, but she can't reach him. So she calls another medical examiner, and I love the way this is angled because she's sitting sideways, working at the table, talking on the phone, and you see the corner. It's like the corner of the fucking room, the doorway, and you see in the doorway, the exterior doorway of that, here's the gray suit walking by.
Well, hold on. Before that, right after they take Chalice away, we see it cuts to the outside world where there's a bunch of TVs with the Silver Shamrock commercial going, and people are grabbing their masks from the stores, And
all the kids
and
running
then
around.
It's like super last second. Halloween starts in like 5 minutes. Like, I need my mask.
I need my mask. The shelves are sold out.
And then the day turns, and then it turns to nighttime, and then we see a silver shamrock van going around, and over like the loudspeaker that's attached to it, it's telling the kids it's almost time. Hurry back home for the big giveaway.
Yeah.
And then we see kids, at home. I think we see Chalice's kids at home watching TV with their masks on and the silver shamrock commercial on.
Yeah. Yep, they did show them. And I even made a note that I love that. I love that montage scene. That looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It really did. It looked fucking great.
Well, it gave us the DVD cover of the kids going down that hill.
Yep.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes, that was an awesome shot.
Not to mention for these masks being quote unquote kind of like, I guess, cheap in the movie as well, just cheap latex rubber masks. They actually are quite good detail looking, especially with the skull one. Like, it's kind of crazy.
And we see how far this whole thing reaches. Well, we kind of do, because during that scene,
like as Los Angeles, Arizona,
Texas. So we see that like this is going all over the country.
Yeah, it's going to show. It alludes to the widespread carnage that is, a possibility if this plan comes to fruition. And so Teddy is sitting there and she's looking at the parts and she realizes it kind of springs into her mind that, oh shit, she kind of figures out what's going on. So she calls the operator and she's like, operator, get me the sheriff. And all of a sudden, fucking homeboy comes up from behind, he fucking slams the phone down, pulls her off the fucking table, puts her on the ground. He's kind of got her head held to the ground, and he had grabbed a drill out of the case with a big ass drill bit on it, and he's got her head sideways on the floor, and then he just goes full Walking Dead on her.
Yeah. Which is funny too, because I remember, because I haven't seen the movie in a while, so when I watched it, I was paying attention to that. I'm like, that's a battery-powered drill. I'm like, I feel like battery-powered drills didn't exist in like 1982. So I Googled it. Come to find out, battery-powered drills have actually been around since the 60s. And the first company who made a battery-powered drill was Black & Decker. And I was like, huh, okay.
Damn. Yeah, I never thought of that.
I think of the weird stuff like that where I'm like, that doesn't seem time accurate.
I use that
technology wise. I'm like, how does that like battery drill in the 80s? I'm like, I don't know about that.
No, it was a fucking pretty brutal kill though for a for that care for Teddy, man. I was rooting for Teddy. If I play the movie in reverse, she survives. So good on you, Teddy. Good on you.
The gray suit helps her up. She's fallen to the floor. Let me help you up.
Takes the drill from her, puts it back in the drawer.
Yeah, it's a story. It's a story of helping and caring,
of camaraderie.
It makes it look kind of like, instead of like a murder, more of like a suicide attempt.
And instead of like a typical guy like just leaving his tools everywhere, he actually puts it back where it belongs.
What are you doing?
You're not
this
wrong.
Isn't yours. This goes in here.
No lies detected.
Do better.
Do better.
You got to do better.
This isn't the 5/16 I asked for.
Dad, please. I said, hold the fucking light.
I said, hold the light.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have fucking PTSD from that. That was my childhood, getting yelled at holding a fucking flashlight. I never learned how to fix anything. I just knew how to hold a flashlight and get called a stupid motherfucker over and over again. That's
yeah.
I
asked the ball peen bracket.
I said the wrench.
I thought you said.
Yeah, I want a crescent wrench. I don't know what that is. Dad, I'm
the
fucking
socket
sick.
wrench, the crescent.
Yeah,
I once tried to
give me a metric.
I tried to make it easy.
What's the matter with you? You never heard of a crescent wrench before?
I tried to
what
make it
kind
easy
of men am I raising?
That was something my dad.
I was like, I'm 6.
And he said, "The fuck?"
He was like, what?
When I was 6, when I was your age.
When I was, my dad, when I was 6 years old, I was fighting grizzly bears on the fucking frontier for grains of fucking corn. I don't know. He's probably listening to this right now. He's like, I'm going to flatten your fucking tires when you bring your car out here next time, you little prick.
Does he watch your shows?
Sometimes he does. He does.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
One of the first times he watched, he said he was flipping through YouTube on a Saturday night, just sitting there. And we used to go on at like 10 o'clock when we did Saturday night's main event. And he says, I see Saturday night's main event. And I'm like, oh, 80s wrestling. He flips to it. And he goes, because I have like the fucking old school WWF fucking aesthetic for the fucking thumbnail. And he goes, I flip to it. What do I see? My son and his retarded friends watching videos talking about nothing. I'm like,
thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
Does he like Mara?
Not really. He listens to like more of the wrestling stuff. He used to listen to me on Rumble when I do like more of politics. He's like, he always said that's what I should do. I'm like, I don't want to, Dad. I'm like, I might be way more than I am now, but I enjoy what I do now. I don't want to hate life every day. I don't. I try to avoid that shit as much as possible. I cannot fucking wait for this whole election fucking shit to be done and over with. I just, I want it to be done. I'm sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, look, I know what I'm doing. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. I want to go back to the 80s where the two things you didn't talk about in public were politics and religion.
Yeah.
I go to a moose lodge occasionally. Very, very.
This sounds very gay.
You know, the Moose Lodge. It's, you know, like the Elks and shit like that. The organizations. It's like a social club. So they got a bar and pool tables and shit like that. So they still have a sign on the wall: no politics, no religion. I'm like, I fucking love it. I absolutely love it. That keeps things fucking more civil.
You go back to the 80s to one place, which is the mall, to go to the movies, the arcade, and the record shop, and that's it.
Yep, I'll take it. I'll fucking take it.
Same, dude. I wish.
See, I should have been born in like 1970, so I could have like fully enjoyed the 80s as like a teenager.
Oh yeah,
like I was born in 1980. You know, so like yes, I got my first 10 years. Like I lived through the entire 80s decade, but like I got to be a teenager in the 90s. And as a civilization, we peaked at the year 2000. At 2001, we were up like this, and then it went like that, and it's been going like that ever since culturally. And that's a fucking sad state of affairs. And that's why we have such an affinity for the 80s and the 90s, and the older generations even more, like the boomer types, the 60s and the 50s still.
Oh yeah. No, if I could be my age that I am now and go and explore like the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s time era, it would be like, whoa, this is cool. You know,
I do the 70s, 80s, and 90s and early 2000s.
I don't particularly care for the 90s as much, just because it's like, it doesn't seem, it's because it also changed a lot from the 80s versus the 90s too. Like
absolutely.
It changed so fast, and it's just like, the 80s seemed a bit cooler than the 90s.
I remember that change.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a huge change from leaving the 80s going into the 90s. Like there was an absolute like whiplash.
Yeah.
From what I've like just seen on like just stuff and movies and like learning things, it's like, wow, the 80s versus the 90s, it's just it's nuts when you think about it, because there's so much stuff from the 80s that was like just coming out, becoming popular, and then just like only a few years into like when it hit the 90s, it's like, yeah, no, none of this is good anymore. It's like, we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why?
You watch like I watched Seinfeld from the very beginning, which has started in 88 and ran through 98. And I mean the aesthetic of television shows and the characters and the way they dress and the way things are shot, the way it progresses, I love it. I love the early episodes because they're grainy and they're more raw, and they get very polished by the 9th season. But man, it's just like It did, like you said, it was a whiplash. It was like whapa, like just it happened. Like you got everything, like clothes, music, everything, culturally
in general.
Yeah, it did. It did a 180 within the course of like
movies, like movies and TV shows from the 80s, and then you look at stuff in the 90s, you go, wow, that just the whole like. Not only that, but just like the whole household design aesthetic too, with like furniture and everything. It's just like, what?
Yeah.
Like a big thing too, when you think about it, is like how futuristic they tried making everything look. Like you could take like Christmas Vacation for a good example. Like if you look at their house versus the neighbor's house and how bland and like kind of just like too clean it looked versus their house. I liked their house because it was more of like, it felt more of a homey feel, where their house felt more of an office. And I was like, I don't like that.
I get it. Very interesting take on that, sir.
I go into detail too much about something.
No, man, it is. It's a fucking huge change when you think about it in terms of culture. Like, especially, like I said, man, I'm 44. So having seen, like, especially like the 2000s, how the early 2000s into like, 2010, that time, like everything is just, there's such a it's so vapid and weird. Like looking back, it's weirder looking back at some of that stuff that it is from the 90s and the 80s. It just, it's strictly contemporary. Like there's no, like there's very few, like, I don't know. I just look at like, I guess like pieces of culture that had like a major impact that will move on from that time period. Like from others, you have these major like hallmarks in culture. And it's like, I mean, outside of like things like, obviously 9/11 happened, but I mean, like culturally, like, did we progress? We haven't progressed, really. We haven't.
No.
Anything. Like I said, it's been stagnant, and we're on the descent now.
Yeah. We've gone downhill. Like, and look at like when you think about like 80s and 90s and then the early 2000s, when you think about things that carry over, almost everything from the 80s carries over, and it's awesome. And then 90s, there is a lot of good stuff in the 90s that can still come over, but there's definitely a lot less than that's in the 80s. But from the 2000s and on, there's like hardly anything.
No. Because there's a lot of stuff from the 80s that are becoming popular again today, but there's not a lot from like the 90s to the early 2000s where it's like, it's like, because like not a whole, like, technology changed, but it wasn't like, whatever's really happened in the 90s to 2000s didn't really stick as much as it did, Like,
no, it didn't. It's weird.
Nobody's clamoring for Crazy Town to come back. Which they can't, because I think the lead singer just died. So that's they're gonna have to do it. They're gonna have to do a Linkin Park and find them a new lead singer. That was it. Linkin Park that just did that. Got the girl that's singing for them now. Yeah, it was Linkin Park. They replaced Darby Allin. That's a wrestling reference. I mean Chester Bennington. He looks like John Podesta. Come on.
It's funny. I had a dude.
Let's stay on target.
It's funny. I had a dude at the job site I'm working at the other day. Literally was like, we got to talking about music and stuff, and he was like, "Dude, you know who you look like?" And I was like, "Who's that?" He was like, "You look like Chester Bennington." And I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, what? Huh? Okay.
I gotta look it up because I don't know who that is.
He's the lead singer of Linkin Park.
Was
the lead singer. Yeah, he sadly committed suicide.
I'm like, what is it? Because
I can kind of see it, like, but I can kind of see it.
I'm like, a little bit. I wear glasses. I'm like, is it because
the glasses and your ear things.
I have way bigger than Chester did, though.
Yeah, yours are bigger.
Somebody clip that.
Oh no.
147 55. Trina saying yours are bigger.
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna clip. We need to go back and clip that. What is that? 147 55. I have a million fucking pens around here. Let's see. It's 147.
Crawling in my skin.
Wait, I can do my. I always make fun because AngelousDraven is one of our guys on Monday. One of my boys. He's the Linkin Park guy, so I always give him the crawling in my skin. There you go, bud. There's my Linkin Park impression. I won't be able to talk for 2 days now. But Cochran, who can talk is Conal Cochran, and he left Dr. Chalice bound to a chair with the mask on, and this is where Cochran gives what's his name? Dan O'Herlihy that played him. What a fucking legend. He was in RoboCop. He played the old man in RoboCop, the head of OCP. This guy was fucking fantastic in this role. When he gives like that evil fucking glare, he's kind of frightening. Like, I would be afraid of him if I was like a small child and he looked at me like that. I'm like, oh Jesus, like this guy's gonna not go full Mr. Drunk. Never mind.
I will say though, that scene too where he's sitting in the chair with the mask and he goes to like kick the TV. I'm like, you can't do that.
No.
I was like, you can't, like, you sitting in that chair and you just put your foot through that. No, those TVs are strong. I
don't care if you're Tom Atkins.
Yeah, I've thrown a rock at a CRT TV and it did not break the first time. It takes a while because that's like an inch thick of glass.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm looking up his monologue from this right here.
Oh, I wrote it down.
Oh, did you? Okay. If you want to read it, I was just gonna play it because that scene is so fucking.
Oh
good,
no! Oh God, no! If you're gonna play it, that's even better.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the copyright for it. I don't care. I really don't care because this is
his, like, bringing the fear back into Halloween or something like that.
Yeah. This is fucking fantastic. He's giving him his origins and everything.
Fun, Doctor. And don't forget to watch the big giveaway afterwards. Why, Cochran? Why? Do I need a reason? Mr. Kupfer was right, I do love a good joke, and this is the best ever. A joke on the children. But there's a better reason. You don't really know much about Halloween. You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy. It was the start of the year in our old Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting in our houses of wattles and clay. The barriers would be down, you see, between the real and the unreal. And the dead might be looking in to sit by our fires of turf. Halloween. The festival of Samhain. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago, and the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children. Sacrifices are part of our world, our craft. Witchcraft. To us, it was a way of controlling our environment. It's not so different now. It's time again. In the end, we don't decide these things, The planets do. They're in alignment, and it's time again. The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. I'm glad you'll be able to watch it. And happy Halloween.
Fuck, the scene was perfect.
That was amazing. I loved that monologue, and I love how right after he says, Happy Halloween. The theme from Halloween is on the TV. I think they're watching Halloween 2 because it looks like she's coming out of the hospital.
Yeah.
I loved that so much. That I think that is probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, that scene right there is just O'Hare Leahy just flexing. Just his chops on that, man. His, like I said, his gaze, he's so intense when he's delivering that monologue. It's fucking frightening, man. That's just it's very aggressive, but at the same time, it's delivered so fucking just smooth. It's like you're like,
it's like, all right, you made a point. I get it.
You feel the weight of what he's saying.
Yep, that's it, because he's saying it so casually. He's talking about sacrificing millions of children, and he's like, well, we don't decide these things, the planets do, and they're in alignment. Like, he's like a crazy chick with fucking crystals.
And
do I need to show the meme again?
And that alignment thing, that planetary alignment thing, that's where Stonehenge comes in.
Yep. It all correlates back to that. And that's where the source of their power is coming from, is the mystical properties of Stonehenge. And the planets being aligned, the season, and it's they're gonna do that. So Chalice, he kicks the TV, which we've discussed, especially an old tube TV like that. Dude, you could drop those out of a 10-story fucking window and the glass won't break. Like, the frame will crack, but that glass probably won't break.
It bounce.
The thing bounce back up and hit you in the mouth when you're laughing watching it fall. The Chalice takes that and cuts the fucking restraints on his wrist, frees himself, perfectly throws the mask up on the camera. That's even my son and my wife were like, damn, that's a nice shot, right? Like, yeah, it just perfectly landed there.
First try.
And I said right here, he rips off the air vent, the duct cover, and I said he escapes through the air ducts a la Die Hard, but well before Bruce Willis did it. This is the scene that actually inspired Die Hard. It's not, but it should be. Tom Atkins was Bruce Willis, right? It's not Christmas. It's not Christmas yet. So Cochran, he sees Chalice has escaped as the one gray suit that was like, sir, he's on the phone.
Hey,
sir, and he's like,
yep.
Give me just 1 second.
Making more sales. Hold on.
I love when he says to the guy on the phone, he's like, make sure your little ones are watching. It's like, oh, dude, that's fucking brutal. That's motherfucker. I want this guy selling cars for me. Like, this is my guy right here. So Chalice, he gets outside. He goes back in to like a warehouse area, and he's trying to use the phone. And I said right here, he calls his bitch ass ex-wife who can't shut her mouth and listen because that's not her wheelhouse. He's like pleading for his fucking life and trying to tell her, and she's just like, blah, 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 Dan, blah, 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 Dan. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah,
we're gonna be here, Dan. You're not here, Dan. It's Halloween, Dan.
It's Halloween.
She was so freaking annoying.
She was insufferable. Like, Nancy Loomis played her like to a T insufferable. I was like, I wonder if she was acting.
She was just venting.
Right? Just kvetching a bit. So let's see here. Cochran, he finds Chalice on the surveillance camera, and a couple of gray suits go after him. Chalice frees Ellie, okay, and she seems fine at this point. Little shaken up maybe, but fine. She's following him, listening to what he's saying. And he grabs a box of the... I said before he gets the little trademarks, I said they pull like, this is like a fucking Inspector Gadget or like Pink Panther thing. They grabbed the cart and they're like walking behind the cart, like across the room that's filled with all the goons. I'm like,
yeah, because that would work.
That was great.
It reminded me of Metal Gear Solid.
It also reminded me of those like Scooby-Doo cartoons.
Yep. Oh, that was very fucking Scooby-Doo. That scene was very Scooby-Doo. I don't hate it. I ain't mad at it though.
No, I loved it.
Not at all. I fucking unapologetically love this movie. And we are, we're one sub away from 1950, which means we've gained like 20 in the last, I think, week and a half. So we're moving on up. I want to hit 2,000 before the end of the year. So thank you to all the new subscribers. We appreciate you guys. Enjoy the back catalog. And there is a specific Halloween franchise playlist now available with all the videos I've done on the franchise of Halloween, which includes reviews of 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, all 3 David Gordon Green movies. I did those as Cleveland Brown, though. Those were all done years ago. So, and those are available too on that playlist. So enjoy. And by the end of this week, I'll have a individual video up. It's not like a review of Halloween 3. It'll be more like I'll pick out something that I really liked about the movie, and then I'll include excerpts from this live stream and that. So you got that to look forward to coming up at the end of the week. So enjoy, folks. But no, Cochran is he's having the Gray Suits hunt down Chalice. They sneak across all Scooby-Doo like, grabs the box of the trademarks, and they head up. They head upstairs. But he crawls. This is another part. He crawls under the desk to the main computer, like punches in like the code to start the commercial playing in the control center, right? So nobody notices him doing that until he gets out and he's running away to head upstairs, and Cochran kind of sees him in between the shelf, like running by. And then they go upstairs, and Chalice starts dumping the fucking laser Stonehenge rock infused trademarks down, and they all start emitting electric shocks and killing all of his android people, which we know now they're all androids, and it starts killing them. And the stone fucking activates, and you see the beam of electricity form around the computers that were in the circle. And Cochran, I love the look on O'Harley's face here, because he turns around to the stone. He looks at Chalice all sarcastic, and he goes,
he had this like look on his face of like awe, like just like, what am I looking at? And then he looks up and then he's like, you did it.
Yep. And the fucking stone activates, and the beams fucking shoot out, and they meet in Cochran. And they had that scene where and Trina, is this, I might be remembering this, might be, what is that, the Mandela effect, but did it always have Cochran evaporating like that?
Yeah.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I swear there was a version where that was different, where he didn't evaporate. He was just kind of gone. But I like it. Okay. All right.
He went poof and became Stonehenge.
Yeah, he's part of it now.
Yeah.
So this is the only scene where like the green screen effect was really bad, when the factory was burning and they're running away. Yep. Oh, that one did not age well. That scene is one of the, I don't hate it. I'm not mad at it. I understand you were working with the technology and the budget, but it just didn't look good. That one didn't hold up. But they're running away in the factory because it looks like the entire Earth it looks like they're in the upside down, is what that kind of looked like.
You know what it reminded me of I can't remember which one it was, but it was Phantasm when it looked like it was apocalyptic.
Was that Ravager?
It might be that one. Yeah, and the skies are red and stuff. It looks like, apocalyptic. That's what it reminded me of.
That's another one. Trina and I reviewed the whole Phantasm franchise last year, so you can go check that out. It's in the horror reviews playlist. That's like an hour, and I think it's like an hour and a half. So we did all 5 movies in one shot.
Those are awesome
they
movies.
Were. 5 was
that's
cobbled together fucking nightmare though.
Yeah. But the CGI, I thought it was comparable to the Phantasm movies but that's the time it was, you know what I mean? Yep. So I mean I think this movie was so this was 83?
82.
82? Oh wait. It was? Hold on. I wrote it in the beginning.
Halloween. Yeah,
82,
Halloween,
yeah.
82 because Halloween 2 came out in 81.
Yep. So this was 82. So this I think was before the later Phantasm movies.
Oh yeah, because you got Phantasm 1 and 2 by this point.
Yeah.
And you didn't get 3 until 93.
Yeah.
4 came out in what was it? 20 I can't remember what year 4 came out, but I know Ravager was 2017. But I mean, maybe 4 was 98. 4, it was 93 was part 3. Part 4 came out in 98, and Ravager was 2017. And Angus Scrimm had passed away right after the last one was filmed. I think it was.
Yeah. I think so.
But all right, so we'll wrap this review up. Because this is one of those reviews. We've been going for 2 hours and 4 minutes. The movie has an hour and 38-minute runtime. So Dan is driving away in the car with Ellie and her sweet ass Cutlass Supreme, which I love that car. I fucking love that car so much.
My mother had that car.
My dad just restored one of those.
Oh, nice.
I got to drive it and deliver it. It was black with glass. It's got the nice glass T-tops. So Dan says they got to do something to stop the commercial. And then Ellie's like, she goes, hand right to the face, like she's trying to mush him. And so they fucking end up there fighting and driving, and they crash into a tree. And he gets out and he sees her fucking arm is attached to the door. And Tom Atkins' reactions in these scenes are great because he's like, It was fucking great. Like 3 times, because it's like, first it's her with one arm, and then he beats her, fucking knocks her head off with the tire iron. And then the second time was what her just the arm came back, and the arm was choking him, and then the body made one last fucking grasp at him before it fucking went down. But yeah, it looked cool. I like that, like the android, like the robotics thing in it. It looked good. What up, horny Alf? Good to see you, brother.
That's where I got confused, because I was like, does that mean she's been a robot the whole time, or when she got kidnapped, they killed her, or they made her into a robot at the factory?
I think when they kidnapped her, they killed her and turned her into a automaton.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Because she had complete free will before that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, unless Tom Atkins banged a robot, that's
what I was making a joke to him about yesterday. Yeah.
If he banged an automaton, he's even more of a legend. I mean, really? Like, this man is a god amongst men. So he runs away.
I thought it was funny how they had it, like, first it was her arm. Her arm's stuck in the car door, and then he walks around, and then she grabs at him with her other arm. He fights her off, and then what? How does he fight her off? I think he like hits her with a tire iron, and
the tire iron off. Yep.
Yeah,
he knocks that off.
Yeah, and then she gets up headless, and goes after him again. It's like 3 times she goes after him. I thought it was just the series of like the sequence of events was hilarious.
It was like I want to edit Hank Hill over like his fucking exasperated. I just want Hank go boah when she attacks him. I think. Damn it, Bobby! I think it'd be fucking great. So he runs away from the scene, and he happens to run back to the gas station where the whole thing started with Harry Grimbridge, and the same attendant is there. He says, "I got to use your phone. It's a matter of life and death." Calls the TV station, tells him to shut it down. You know, everybody's gonna die. Tell them whatever you want. Tell them there's a bomb. Just shut it down. These trick-or-treaters walk in, and the ad's on, and it goes off on the one station. The kid changed the channel. The other station goes off that one. Changes it to the third station. And Tom Atkins is like, "You got to stop it. You got to stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it." And that's when it fucking ends. And it's such a great ending. Because the good guys don't win. This is like The Empire Strikes Back.
It's a fitting ending to a horror movie. It wasn't a happy ending.
Yeah.
What up, Zachariah? Hail, bro. Good to see you. Wait, the elite robot wanted to escape with Atkins. The Ellie. I said elite. Jesus Christ, I'm stoned. The Ellie robot wanted to escape with Atkins. Yeah. Well, I think she was like the last line of defense to like take him out.
Yeah. There wasn't, because those drones don't have like wants and stuff. They just like have a directive that they follow.
Yep, they're like RoboCop. They have their prime directives.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Ellie's walking. We just cut the RoboCop music in. Dun, 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 dun. I don't. What would you score this one, Trina?
Oh man. Okay, so 1 out of 5.
Yep.
I would say.
Wait, I can put this on. Hang on.
Man, this is hard. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only 3. All right. Trina is at a 4. Tyler and Jason, I'll let you guys go, and I'll close it out.
You can go first.
I'd probably give it like a 3.5, just for the fact of because it's not, Halloween with Michael Myers, but it is creative though.
Mm-hmm.
So 3.5.
I'd probably like do straight at 3. And it's I honestly at this point I've looked past the part where it's like there's no Michael Myers, but at the same time it still has like the Halloween feel.
Yeah, it's still a decent movie.
Yeah, and also I think it really helps with Dick Warlock, as one of the gray suits, and the ending was pretty ballsy. So
a lot that happened in it for sure.
Yeah.
And for this movie also only being like what did you say, like an hour and 34 minutes or something like that? A lot happened in that hour and 34 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It was a busy movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was
no
shortage.
Feel longer than it really was. Yeah.
I fucking love this movie. I really do. To the point where I'm probably going to get a tattoo of something related to this movie after I get my pinhead piece done.
Do the 3 masks.
I'm kind of thinking of doing that on my right arm under the hockey mask, having like the 3 silver shamrocks. But I want to do a Michael Myers mask too. I kind of want to get that. Like I said, I'm gonna get the pinhead over here. But as far as this movie goes, scoring wise, this one for me is this is difficult. I feel like Dave Meltzer on this one. There's a wrestling reference, Trina. I owe you 100 now. I gotta go with a solid 4.5 on this. I'm gonna go with 4.5. That's probably the highest rating I think I've ever given anything.
Yeah, it is.
I absolutely love this. Like I said, you guys mentioned it took chances. This movie took a big fucking swing, and at the time it was a miss, but it's found its mark. 40 some years later, it's a fucking cult classic, and it's gonna be one of those movies. It has a shelf life that's infinite, because while some of the effects and the technology are obviously dated, you look at this movie that exists in its time and contextually, and it's dark as fuck, and it's gritty. Tom Atkins is an everyman fucking leading actor. Everything about this works for me. I absolutely loved it.
Dude, they killed a kid in this movie.
Yeah.
They never do that.
No, not even Friday the 13th. They never killed kids.
No, not little ones. I mean, teenagers, but
teenagers.
They don't count.
Those teenagers having sex in my lake. But yeah, 4.5 for me. This was a fun one. This went on. We outlasted the runtime of the movie.
That's okay. We talked about it, which is good.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. I limited the tangents this week.
Well, you tried. There was an attempt.
I went there. There was an attempt made. But no, Tyler, Jason, thank you for joining us, gentlemen.
Absolutely. It was a blast. Always is.
It's always good to have you. You've been you busy with the are you working at an attraction during the season? I thought you were working at one.
Yeah, I work every weekend there. And earlier before we started the stream and you asked how we were doing, it actually has something to do with that because I was robbed at the attraction.
You were robbed? Shit. Oh no, dude! I'm sorry to hear that.
Fuck, man.
Wallet's gone, to say the least.
Dude, that's shitty. What the hell?
Yeah, that I didn't expect that.
Yeah, they stole his wallet and like his rings.
Yeah,
and that was it.
My real rings. Yeah, and then for you, go ahead.
Did you have are you having a hard time replacing your license and stuff?
My license is currently on the way. It'll be here in about, I think, 10 days. So it really sucks. I had to start over, but I got it all on the way again. I just got my credit card 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
But
wow.
And it doesn't even really seem like the owner gave a fuck.
Yeah.
Which really sucks.
Yeah.
So I probably won't be doing the same haunt next year, to say the least, because
it's just been really not a good experience.
Yeah, and then and he didn't get to mention his part earlier because it was when you asked, "Well, how you guys doing?"
Yeah, it's been a rough year. Yeah, I'm. It's been official now. I'm finally going through a divorce, so that's fun. And then I also hit a deer today on the way to work, so that's even greater.
Oh man. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but honestly, it could have ended a lot worse when it came to being robbed.
A lot of things could be way worse.
Yeah.
I mean,
I found your pliers.
Yeah. I thought I lost a $40 pair of pliers changing his headlight in his car up there, but he found them luckily. I was like, heck yeah, dude.
I mean,
I'm like, that sucks. You can't find your wallet still, but
Yeah. Womp.
It's like,
it's okay.
Like Jerry's dad in Seinfeld. My wallet's gone. What kind of clip joint are you running around here? Dude, I'm sorry, man. That fucking sucks though, bro. And
that definitely put a stop on me putting out videos. I just had, after that, I had no motivation to do anything. And I'm also, I'm still not sure yet. I still feel the same way as I did this morning. My kid's sick right now, and I feel like it's going to come around and get me in the morning. I feel it. I'm gonna wake up, have to go to class, and then it's gonna hit me. I'm gonna go. Let's go.
I know. I've been, knock on wood, I've been lucky this school year so far because I teach. I haven't caught anything from any of the fleshy little germ traps yet, and
it's still early.
I know, and we've got a 3-day weekend coming up, and I've got to teach all day in classroom on Thursday for like 3rd and 4th grade. So I'm like, great. And then we're throwing our big Halloween party, not this weekend, but next weekend. We do a big. I got to deck my car out. I'm gonna put a Jason Voorhees in the car next to Ghostface, and I'm gonna be sitting in the back seat because I'm gonna have the candy up front of the car, and I'm gonna have my Bluetooth speaker underneath the car playing the Halloween theme, and I'm gonna get out of the back seat dressed as Michael Myers when kids come in to grab the fucking candy.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
I was like, I was thinking about moving the car out, like taking it to my dad's house, but I'm like, nah, dude, it'll come in handy for a prop. It'll be nice for the party though, because we'll be able to commiserate in the garage and go out there to, if it's raining, we can't be on the patio having a fire. We can be in there, if you want to smoke or whatever, there it is right there. So,
hell yeah.
But yeah,
sounds like a good time to me.
Yeah, but thank you everybody for tuning in and watching the stream. We enjoyed this. Like I said, stay tuned. I'm going to cut excerpts out of this, and they will be included in the Halloween 3 video throughout, which I'll start producing tomorrow because I'll have pretty much all day to work on it. So, yeah, and I've got channel members. We have the These People Are Fucking Disgusting cast tomorrow night for channel members at 6 p.m. You can join us for that, and then. What do I do for you guys? I took last Wednesday night off. Pretty much we did a membership. Well, we get a doubleheader. Members, you guys get your stream tomorrow. And tomorrow night after that, I'll take about a half-hour break. We'll regroup, and we're going to watch a movie. What are we going to watch? Well, we watched Halloween 3 tonight. Why not stay with Tom Atkins? We're going to watch Night of the Creeps tomorrow night at 8:30 over here. That's another one we've been talking about doing. And yeah, so we'll watch that. Patreon tomorrow, you guys get the commentary for Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-orama with Linnea Quigley. We watched that and recorded it last night. That'll be uploaded on patreon.com. That's patreon.com/wrestlingwithhorror420. And we have merch available. Last thing I got to say before we go, I'm going to show my merch. Here we go. Get your Wrestling with Horror merchandise at Wrestling with Horror on Teespring. We have coffee cups, stickers, hoodies, t-shirts, new Wakuian Order merch, and still that classic place to be reviews, Etep and Mini Etep hoodie. All available on our merch store on Teespring. That is teespring.com/wrestling with horror. Use promo code ORDER to get 10% off for the next 30 days. Once again, that's teespring.com/wrestling with horror. Promo code EARLY to get your 10% discount on some great Wrestling with Horror merchandise. And my dog was barking in the background of that. That's I have to reshoot that because the promo codes are expired now. That's an old spot. I gotta redo that. But I ordered a hoodie, a t-shirt, and a long sleeve tee. And the Wrestling with Horror logo designed by Vinnie Tartamella came out fantastic. All those shirts are I only get like $1.50 to $2 off those shirts. I chopped those down as cheap as I could. The t-shirts are like $19. The hoodies are $30. And I got like the best one I could on there. And I've ordered samples of them so I can see what the material's like and shit like that. So yeah, they're nice. The mugs I think they're like $10 to $12 and that maybe cheaper. I'd have to look it up. I want them because I can't remember what the minimum was. They're anywhere from like 8 to 12 in that range. I don't think they're more than that. I wish I could remember offhand now, but I know I want to get one. I want to get one of the coffee cups. I do because I never got one of the old ones. It's like I want to get one of these. But thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm done babbling. I'll shut the fuck up and let everybody get out of here. Thank you so much, patrons, channel members, Stay tuned for more content. I'm a busy man, and I'm working hard over here for you guys. Trina, thank you very much again this evening. Sign us out.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you, Tyler and Jason, for joining us. Thank you guys in the chat for joining us as well. And anybody watching on the replay, thank you as well. And we'll see you next week, same time, same place. And I hope you all have a great week.
Bye-bye. That's it.